Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about something that is very controversial, probably within the witchcraft community. I don't know, I haven't really heard many people talking about completely what I'm talking about in this video specifically, but today I thought I would talk about books of shadows, grimoires, whatever you want to call them, whatever you define each as, because some places say that a grimoire is a specific thing, some people say a book of shadows is a specific thing, some people say you can use the term interchangeably. I'm not really sure where I stand with that, but I have found over the years that having a book of shadows or a grimoire has hindered my progress. Now, this video isn't going to be for everyone because I know there's probably loads and loads of witches, pagans, spiritual people who have books of shadows, grimoires, and it works really, really well for them, and that's great, but I want to talk about the small percentage of us who find it really, really hard to have one. I'm going to be discussing the reasons why I think this is, and ways that we can solve this, and alternative solutions to where do I store all my witchcraft information. So firstly, for the longest time, having a book of shadows has stopped me becoming a better witch because I was so in my head about trying to make my book of shadows or grimoire look perfect, no spelling mistakes, it had to be like completely true information, and I kind of realised at the end of the day that it didn't need to be perfect. But then I just starting loads of random books of shadows and grimoires and rewriting out the same information. I remember watching an episode of Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and just rewriting this thing. It took me like an hour to rewrite all of the different witchy tools and what they meant. And like looking back on that, I'm like, why did I need that? Like, I don't need that information because I knew what it was. Like maybe the odd thing, like I think you pronounce it as a besom, like a broom, like a mini broom. I might not have known what that is, and I might needed to remember that, but I knew what an athame was, I knew what a chalice was, because I had made that association in my brain. I knew it. So why was I writing that out? I kind of felt like, and came to the conclusion that I was writing a book as if I was going to give it to someone else, and that is not what these books are supposed to be. I feel like it's going to take me a long time until I can write the perfect witchcraft book with all the perfect information, and even when I feel like that might be the case, it's never going to be perfect because everyone's going to have a difference in opinion of how they practice their witchcraft, and I don't even know what the purpose of this book is. I always had this image in my head, like one day, oh yes, I'll have like a daughter or a son, and I will pass down all my knowledge of witchcraft to them, and I can give them this book and it will have all the information. And also like I'd meet people, make friends with people when I was younger, and I would teach them about witchcraft and they wanted to know about witchcraft, and they'd read my grimoire and then they'd be able to learn from it. But since I've been older, that's not been the case, and I've realised there are other ways that I can document my knowledge. The first one being just in my mind. In the past, like, written language has only been a thing for so long, and I think that writing handwritten notes has just, it's not the same anymore because I have to do it so much for school. I'm writing all day. Like at the moment I am on a handwriting ban because I've written so much that I've got such blisters on my hand from where I've been writing too much that I just think I can learn everything in my head, and then if I need to go and find some information, then I can go online and find the information. But then there's the counter argument. It's like, I would really like a nice book that I can open. It's got all my witchcraft information in it. I can make it look all pretty. It can be a beautiful leather-bound book, not all or the vegan equivalent. But then, oh my god, my nail. But then I'm like, but what's the point of that? That's not real witchcraft. That's just, like, that'll be a waste of my time for me to sit there for hours on end trying to find the perfect information. And then I always find when I write a book in my grimoire, my book of shadows, then it's not perfect and I want to go back and look and edit it. So then I'm like, well, maybe I should have a digital one. But then I'm like, if I have a digital one, I can literally copy and paste everything on the internet. So then I'm not doing any of the work. I could just Google the information that I need. But then there's some blogs that take off information in the future. Like there's been blogs that I've found that have taught me so much from people's own personal, I've been looking at the wrong camera this whole time, where people are showing their own witchcraft teachings, things they've learned in their life, and then I was like so inspired by that, and then a couple months later I tried to find it and I couldn't find the same article. So then in those cases it is important because you need to write it down. But yeah, just in this video I just wanted to talk about like trying to make something perfect when it's your own personal thing, and then also when you try and make a really rough version then you don't want to look at it. Maybe the solution is to have one really pretty written up version and then like random notes, I don't know. Or an idea that I got from Alwyn Oak, she has little cards, so when she wants to write information about herb, then she writes it on little, they're kind of like flashcards, like about that big, and then she has like a deck of them so she can go through and make edits, and she's writing a spell about a certain thing, then she can gather all the cards for the things that she needs. And I think that's such a cool idea. But yeah, let's look at the notes that I wrote for this video. What demotivates and uninspires me? Yeah, they need to be perfect, and for it to be pretty. Like, I am not really good at drawing, so I was trying to work on that, but it is really hard because you have to get past that initial phase of like, my drawings look horrible, and then you finally get to the bit where you're like improving and learning, and that's the same with everything. But I find drawing just really hard with any creative thing when you know that what you're making is bad. Like there's been loads of phases of my YouTube journey where I've been like, I know this video is bad, I just want it to be good so bad, but I just cannot make it look good. And yeah, so stuff like that. The pursuit of perfection, that is such an important thing. And with other areas of witchcraft, making your rituals look pretty, when in the past rituals weren't pretty. Like people would use literal pig's hearts and hammer nails into them, like random stuff like that. It was not pretty. Like witchcraft in the past, it wasn't like pretty little spell jars with like different coloured candles and stuff. It was so not aesthetic. Yeah, making mistakes. As I said, when you make a mistake, it's like this book. This book is now my YouTube writing book. So I write these videos in this book, and it's just so much better than my old system. So I started this book in 2020 as a grimoire. I previously had lots of other grimoires. Actually, let me show you my grimoires in this video because that will show you an idea of grimoires. Exposing myself here. Okay, so this was my first ever proper grimoire. So my first ever, like technically my first ever grimoire, was a mini notebook that I made out of post-it notes. So it was like a landscape beige post-it note. I've got it somewhere, I must have kept it, and I folded over the glue side. So I like counted out a load of post-it notes, peeled off these post-it notes in a block, and then I folded over the glue side and it made it into a little book, and I wrote little spells in it. These spells were mainly just spells that were written. So like there was a spell for strength, so it was something that I wrote that was like, say I am strong 5 times or something like that, but more like there was more words than just that. And that was my little spell book. That was my first ever grimoire. I made it when I was around 10. I got lots of inspiration from Spells and Magic, and then I progressed to having a proper book. So this originally was going to be a book where I wrote down my rituals and spells, but it turned into being a proper grimoire. So I won't show the one of the sides of this book because it's got my full name in it. Spells and Potions Recipes. I made this in year 6, so that's the last year of primary school, so it was a long time ago now. So I wrote out stuff from books. This book that I read that was actually fictional but it had real witchcraft information, glossary of witch terms. See, this is when it's good, when you're a beginner, you're learning things, stuff like that. Useful spells that I learned, candle colour and meaning. That was one of the best things I ever wrote out because it really taught me what real witchcraft was. And then we go into the fake witchcraft that I learned about because I didn't really understand stuff when I was younger. Pentagram. Totem animals. So yeah, I had loads of stuff, and this was really useful when I had this as a kid because it helped me learn things and put it in a nice way. And because I was young, I didn't worry about it looking perfect or it looking pretty. And I used to use Sharpies for this book because it's got this really nice paper. But yeah, 2017. What a time. Oh my god. Yeah, how to erase someone's mind. That was a spell that I wrote in here. How to control the 4 elements. Didn't really understand elements back then. How to have a siren's voice. I made a video about that spell that I found on Spells and Magic and it got a lot of views, which was crazy. And then I talk about Harry Potter. Loads of random stuff. So at the beginning of your craft, it's really, really good. So this was my first thing. And then I moved on to this book. This book was originally a study book. This was a revision book that I had. So I had one in blue that was given by my friend for my birthday when I was in year 7. And it had like English, maths, science, and these little tabs divided up the book, and I wrote out all my school notes. So yeah, I bought this as a second one so that I could have all of my subjects in this kind of form, but it didn't stay like that because then I realised that writing notes doesn't make you learn the information for school. Note-taking is one of the least effective revision methods, so that's another thing where I'm like, I've kind of just reached this part of my journey, and I'm like, I don't need to write everything out. Like, in a couple of years I think I will, but it kind of makes me feel like not a real witch because I don't have like a proper pretty grimoire. But then I'm like, I don't have time to write everything out and make it look pretty when I'm not even going to read it. So I'm just trying to learn everything. I don't know. Anyway, so this book, I was talking about how to cast a circle. I tried to make it look pretty and interesting. I haven't really casted that many spells like this throughout my whole journey, so I haven't really... I think I casted a circle once, because I really don't do many proper like ritual spell things yet, because I'm still learning what kind of witchcraft I want to do, and the kind of spells that I do are quite different to what I used to do and probably what I'll do in the future. Still learning, which is the point of this channel. Sigil making. I don't even know. It's saying types of sigil making, and then it's not even about that. I don't know. Tools. See, this is another thing is size. Like, what kind of size do you have as a book of shadows? Because I found these lines were... Okay, you're going to see some of my videos I'm writing. It's not big enough to write the information you need. And I found that I was keeping loads of pages empty for when I wanted to go back and write down the information. Wait, what? I don't know what I was doing. But then some stuff I really enjoyed doing. Like one day I decided I wasn't going to use my phone all day and I was going to learn about different forms of divination. And I learnt about augury, which I really want to make a video about. So sometimes it is good, sometimes it's not. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments. But I just don't know. Where is it? Yeah, this is when I spent ages and ages writing out all of the stuff in my little felt tip pens I used to be obsessed with. And it took me all afternoon and more time. But what is the point of that? Pen and ink. This literally says, traditionally, quills were used, but you can just use a posh pen. Try to keep it for magical workings and not for anything else. I think I wrote that. I definitely did not keep that. Chalice, a ceremonial drinking vessel, represents water. I knew what a chalice was. Why did I need to write that down? See, I just don't know. keeping the magic alive in your daily life. I saw this article and I was like, I need to copy this down and write it out. I didn't need to. I could have just printed out the article. Also a binder. I have tried a binder. Binders are really, really good because you can print out articles, you can write something, and if you make a mistake, then you can start writing it out again. You can move things around, you can add sections, you can change your mind. It's really, really good, but I never invested into that, and now I'm kind of a bit traumatized by binders because they remind me of A-levels, because binders are like, or folders I should probably say, folders are like everything at sixth form. Everybody has one and people just walk around carrying them because they don't fit in their bag. So I just associate that with sixth form now, so it's not really the same. But I really love Ivy the Occultist's, I think she has like little binders and they look like proper grimoires, and she has like a couple of them, so they're kind of like a library. Oh, another thing that I talked about in my winter solstice video, you have to watch the video to learn about it, but I have these big scrapbooks that I also use as kind of like books of shadows, so maybe I'll go back to doing that. But then it's like, I'm just trying to make the information look pretty. What is the point of it? So yeah, the importance of visualization. Why do I need to convince myself to do visualization? Like, I don't know. And then I started trying mind maps. This is something I've been trying to do recently, and the only thing it's been really, really successful in is in geography. Why is my voice going weird again? So this worked really well when I was revising for my exams, because I had exam questions where they were talking about like regeneration. So I'd have like the main idea and then I'd have little ideas linking to it, or I'd probably find it easier to explain what I was doing today. So we were learning about literally my whole life. We were learning about biogeochemistry, the best thing ever, which is about like microbiology, the carbon cycle, my whole life. It was incredible. So I was linking off different ideas. So I'd start talking about like mangroves and how they sequester carbon, and then I would link that to where mangroves are found, like Southeast Asia and other places. And then I'd think, oh, I have a case study about volcanoes that links to the other kind of volcano, the other kind of carbon storage, and I'd link that back to that. So then you can do that in your witchcraft. So because your memory works when you link new ideas to things you already know. It's like building blocks. You learn a new thing off of something you already know and it sticks better in your brain. And I feel like your brain is kind of more like a web, like the way that different things link together. It's really, really cool. And it's really, really cool when people make like artistic interpretations of this theory. Love it. So yeah, vampiric magic I was learning from Ivy the Occultist. She was talking about it. So I was talking, I will link the video down below if you want to learn about it. It's really, really interesting. So I was saying, what is it? So then I branch off into the different things and I link the stuff together. So so I said the goal is to increase your life force, helps people with energy issues, and then I linked that to other types of people that would benefit from it, and then off of that I said the different things that it can help you achieve. So it's kind of one thing links to another thing, links to another thing, and then on a different point you might be talking about something and then that links back to something else that you were talking about that you led on to in another point. So it really helps you to understand the information, and it's more fun, it's more like a game when you're reading it back, because you can read it in any order and link stuff together, and it kind of like you start to fill in the gaps yourself. And I think that's really cool, and it really helped me to, as I said, revise for my geography exam. Hopefully I did well. I'll find out on Monday, but yeah. So yeah, this video was just kind of for me to talk about books of shadows, grimoires. Do you need one? Do you not need one? Kind of my experience, what I've learned. I'd love to hear what you guys think. But at the moment in my journey. At this point in time, I don't have a grimoire or a book of shadows. I have a couple of like project books that I am working on, but I don't actually, they're just kind of like on the side. I don't actually do any work in them. They're just sitting on my shelf. I need to do work in them. Like I've got a book of crystal meanings. I'll go and get it and I'll show you guys because it is really cool. This is my book of crystal meanings. So then inside I've got the contents. See, I'm trying to make it perfect with the way that it looks. I haven't actually written anything in it at all. So yeah, and then I'm going to have a page for each crystal, but then I might learn more information about a crystal and then want to edit it. So it's really hard, and then it's like, should I write it in pencil so I can rub it out? I don't know, it's just trying to be perfect all the time with stuff like that. It's really hard. I don't know, maybe it's just my personality that makes me want to make things perfect, but yeah. Anyway, that is all I have to talk about today. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. If you're not already subscribed, it would mean a lot to me if you would subscribe and join our little community here. And yeah, I'll see you guys all soon in a new video. Bye!